Okay, so I have a short video here for you today on the area of a circle. So as we know, any figure that we have, circle, triangle, parallelogram, etc., has area. And that area is the measure of the space inside whatever that shape is, measured in square units, right? Inches squared, miles squared, etc. But obviously for a circle, it's different. You know, we don't have bases and heights and stuff like that as we would in another figure. We have a round shape. We have pi. We have radius. And so that's what we use to calculate our area. Area equals pi r squared. So we take our radius, we raise it to the second power, we multiply it by the irrational number pi, and that is our area. So, let's say we wanted to find the area of a circle with a radius of 4 inches. So, I'm going to sketch the shape just because it's always good to look at our shapes as something that we can actually examine here. So, remember that the radius of a circle is the distance between the center of the circle and a point on the outside. And of course, that's the same no matter where I draw that radius to. All radii of a circle are congruent, are equal. All right, and we said that in this case, the radius was 4 inches, and we would like the area. Well, we know that area equals pi r squared, and so we know that pi is pi, of course, and our r here is 4 inches. Of course, we'll put our units in when we're all done. There are two ways to write the area of a circle, the same as there were for its circumference. The first is square your radius, 16 is 4 squared, and put the pi there. That's called your exact answer. And the reason that we call it exact, not sure why it won't let me write here, there we go, is because we don't know what pi is. But we know that if we did know what pi was, 16 times that number would be the area of our circle. Of course, we do know that pi can be approximated by 3.14159, etc. We don't actually know what it is because we don't know where it stops. So that's the first answer. You'll see this most often. It'll say, give your answer in terms of pi is another way to say this, in addition to giving the exact answer. The other method, of course, is to actually approximate pi on your calculator and multiply it by 16. You would get about 50.27. Of course, each of these should be in square inches. This is called the approximate answer. And of course, that's because you're approximating pi. You're taking it to a calculator, which is better than just sticking times 3.14, but into the process here. But of course, even the calculator can't figure out where pi stops, because it doesn't. All right? So let's try to find the area of a circle with a radius of 5 miles. So, you know, if you're a Criminal Minds fan, your 5-mile radius to find the unsub or whatever, that's what we're looking at here. So, we have a circle with a radius, and that's 5. And of course, so we're going to take our area formula here. We have pi. We have r, which is 5 to the second power. Our exact here would be 5 squared, which is 25 pi miles squared, because we have a different unit now, miles instead of inches. Or, of course, we could approximate it 25 times pi is 78.54 miles squared. And whether or not you use exact or approximate, besides being based on whatever your teacher tells you, is, of course, also dependent on what kind of a problem you're doing. If you're just doing a test question, hey, find the area of the circle, you're probably going to be fine giving an exact answer if it's a ACT or something. If you're doing something where it's, you're trying to measure something for some purpose, like a construction or other project, you're probably going to approximate. It doesn't quite make sense to go into the hardware store and say, I want 25 pi square feet of paint coverage or something like that. That's not going to go over too well. So next we're going to look at something a little different. This last one says, find the area of a circle with a diameter of 10 centimeters. Well, diameter now. That kind of poses an issue. As you may recall, if you have the diameter of a circle, what you're looking at is the distance all the way across through the center. So we've got 2 points on the outside, let's call them A and B, and we have our center of our circle, we could call that C. All right, and the diameter is this measurement, 10 centimeters here. That's not exactly clear. Let me use a different color. So, well, how do I figure out area of a circle, which is pi r squared, when I don't have r? I have d. Well, as you might recall, d is equal to 2 times r. So if I have d, which is 10, our diameter is 10, that should be r, not pi. Then we can solve that, and r is 10 over 2, or 5. And in that case, we would have quite simply what we had on our last slide, except in this time we're using centimeters squared instead of miles. So we would have our 25 pi and our 78.54. So if you're given diameter, divide it in 2 and then use your area formula. Unlike circumference, there's no separate area formula for when you have the diameter versus the radius. You always need to get that radius first. All right, thanks for watching.